Good evening, my inky crafty friends. It's Haley Dyer, the Inky Scrapper, coming to you live this Thursday, January 9th. Hello. Again, I don't know why I said again, but my habit is to check, making sure on my computer that the post is indeed live. And I do see, it looks like I'm here. Yay. Thanks for joining me, whether you're watching live or on replay. I'm always glad to have you, and I have some shares tonight, and we're going to make a quick little card. I have an idea in my head, and we'll see how it plays out. So what you're looking at right now is not the beautiful Ordinary Life collection, but it is a scrapbook layout that I made. I'll be honest, this one took a long time, but we got to go to we were invited to a wedding in California recently, and our daughters were both bridal attendants, and so I had to get the pictures developed and scrapbooked right away. So I'll show that off in just a minute. So Stampin' Up! Has a hot foil system that launches tomorrow. Mine is supposed to arrive tomorrow, so I'll be coming back on at some point in the near future to share my thoughts about it. But I want to know, have you taken a peek at it already or not? I will be doing a feature on it, but I'm not sure when. It's supposed to be here tomorrow by 9 p.m. and we'll see what UPS actually does. Who knows? You know how that goes. So I'm not promising anything for tomorrow. So again, what I'm going to show you, what's on my craft table right now, is a layout that I made with photos from the beautiful wedding that our daughters were attendants and my husband and I were able to attend. So a whole family affair. So here's the whole spread left to right. I had a lot of fun with the Forever Florals bundle with the dies. The stamped images are actually from Moonlit Flora, the Fern and Flora stamp set and dies. Sorry, it's the Moonlit Flora suite. And probably obviously my color palette came from the pictures themselves. Hey Nancy, thanks for watching. So glad you're here. I was just showing this layout that I made, and this was a labor of love. I don't spend this much time on every single layout that I make, but this one was absolutely worth it. And I used 13 of these die cut clusters right here, this little floral oval bunch. And then I did add some of the little pieces over the top kind of randomly that I did use some ink blending, because all along the aisle of the wedding and in the arch were these beautiful roses, hydrangeas. I'm not sure what these blue flowers are. I don't know if they're forget-me-nots or larkspurs. I don't know. I didn't see anybody to ask, but this is, let me hold it down, the left page. And then the right page, my focal colors are Cloud Cover, Azure Afternoon, and Blueberry Bushel, not buckle, Blueberry Bushel, close. And then I had to use some of this glimmer paper that I still had in my stash. The bride and groom are Mr. and Mrs. Gunara, so that's the G. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. One thing that is a really subtle technique, but I did do some ink blending on the Cloud Cover cardstock right here, all the way across. It's really subtle, and then I did stamp the little polka dot, not really splatters, little dots in Cloud Cover on Cloud Cover, because it just needed a little texture. The cardstock was a little bit too plain. So basically I did 3 strips, a 3-inch strip. I don't remember, so let me check. I got my handy rule. A 5-inch strip, and then about, what is that? A 4-inch. I think it's 3 or 3 1/4. Okay. Anyway, I did the math when I made it, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. So if you have any questions about it, let me know. Like I said, this is a labor of love. I also used some of the leftover pieces to make a thank you card. The girls wanted to thank the mother of the groom because she was very generous and helped with provided hair and makeup and some things. So so I made a thank you card that coordinates, that uses a lot of some of these same elements that I know she will recognize as a nod to the beautiful wedding. And that's going to post on my blog, I think tomorrow, coming up soon. So this is Scrapbook Saturday, but here you got to see a little bit of it in person. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you, a fun technique. this glimmer paper, I used a hole punch and punched out 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch little circles, and then just glued them on as little embellishments. And then of course I used the rhinestones because. So like I said, labor of love, but it was totally worth it. In case you can't tell, these were die cut white, and then I used a marker to color Old Olive, and then I added the little die cuts in the Azure Afternoon, and then there's some Balmy Blue blending because the Azure Afternoon was a little bright, and then I used watercolor pencils without water on those. And again, I'm really pleased with how it turned out, so thanks for letting me share that. And my next share, I got some surprise happy mail. My friend Rita sent me this beautiful card. It's Hydrangea Hue and the Bloom Boutique paper, and I think that's the Scalloped Blooms stamp set. But isn't that pretty? I love how pretty it is, and just it's a really simple design that's easy to replicate. And then on the inside, again, thank you, Rita Holmes, my dear sweet friend. And I like the inside. I usually do like a 4 by 5 1/4 on the inside, and I like that this is a little bit smaller. And I love adding just a little strip of DSP, whether it's horizontal or vertical, just a little interest on the inside. So thank you, Rita, for letting me, thank you for the card and for letting me showcase it. And then let me move that out of the way. I sort of watched one of my videos. I don't like watching myself or listening to myself, but I sort of watched one of them and realized, I know that there have been comments before about like, oh, when you turn away, we can't hear you. And I realized that. So I'm trying to be more cognizant of that. And sometimes I feel like I ramble, but I also want to make sure that there is a voiceover, because if you're just coming on in the middle, sometimes you're like, is this thing on? So that way you can tell. But my other big project, and this is Beautiful Ordinary Life. This is it's not quite finished, but this is my Beautiful Ordinary Life 6x8 album. This was Stamp Camp this week, and I have another session on Saturday, July 25th. I do need for you to RSVP by like Sunday at the latest, because I have to order materials. So I'm going to show you what all you get. Like I said, it's not quite finished. The cover's going to be decorated. It's obviously not decorated yet, but this is our 6x8 mini album. I love that it includes a label on the spine. I'm using both the packet of 6x8 page protectors and the packet of the divided pocket page protectors, as you will see. I know there's a glare, and so I think, let me just try to hold this up. Maybe this will help. So for the first page, we actually cut the page protector so that it's kind of a half page. Good times, and I had fun stamping one of those little images. This is from the Capturing, I think it's Capturing Moments bundle. I use both that and the Beautiful Everyday Life. So I'm going to just try to flip through it pretty quickly. So the ladies and I are going to finish tomorrow. So for the 25th, I'm going to do a little more prep work. This page is not finished. It is going to be an interactive page, and this part will open, but I want to make that with the ladies to show them how. And that one's going to make a flap. So these are not finished. So I'm just going to, but I tucked all the pieces in the pockets that we're going to use, and with the little reminders. And I found there was a little bit of an error in the guide. And so, or actually, I think that I didn't like my pattern or something. So I subbed from my stash, and I had to add some cardstock. There was a little piece missing, which is not a big deal, but I mean, having made it now, I know what to do. But I love this. And this is, a Christmas gift. I am going to make 2 of these. This is the first of 2 because I have 2 daughters, and each one will be getting this as a Christmas gift, along with a journaling pen and our green glue, which is not green. The bottle has green on it, so that they can start making their own scrapbooks, because they love having scrapbooks, and I want them to be able to start doing it in their voice, because they're old enough now, and figured I'd help them get started. Uh-oh, I need to re-glue that so that it's straight. Uh-oh. But this is a fun literal flap that opens up. All right. And I put in all the photo placeholders. This is probably one of my favorites. I love the ink blending and the little pennants. So fun. And I love the cameras. That's been another fun thing. So here's another half page added in. There we go. A little Nature Symphony. And this is, whoops, where I'm stopping for now. There's a few more pages. I'm just not done with them. So there, it continues on for a few more pages. So like I said, I do still have an event to make this album on July 25th. I could be talked into a fall date if there's interest. I just need to be able to order the materials because I don't know if this paper is going to go out of stock. The bundle currently is out of stock because some of the pieces are missing. And if a piece is missing, the bundle becomes unavailable, but the individual pieces that are available are still available. Hopefully that made sense. So thanks for letting me share that with you. I will end up doing probably a quick video of the completed album. So since I've been working with that collection, I thought, I have a card idea. I saw something, I don't remember where, because you know how it goes when you see things, but I'm pulling in the Extraordinary Life stamp set. I actually have the bundle, so I die cut, went ahead and stamped and die cut the butterfly and 3 of the flowers. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but I have them here ready to go in case we use them. And since these are kind of big, well, those are not big at all. This is a Beautiful Life, Noteworthy, One Fine Day, Cherish This, Top 5 Good Times. Didn't really want those things for a card, so I grabbed my Scalloped Blooms stamp set and I went ahead and put Thinking of You on a block so that we can stamp that. So like I said, I have a card idea in my head. Oops, and we'll see how it goes. So I grabbed some Flirty Flamingo cardstock, obviously from my stash. That was the smallest piece that I had in my baggie that I thought would work. I have a Petal Pink cardstock base because those are the 2 pinks. And then I grabbed these 3 patterns to use, but I need to work a little bit on the design. So I know I'm gonna work with nested rectangles. So I'm gonna grab my templates that I've made. Alrighty, so I know that I'm gonna start with a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card front. And I want to do a little bit smaller. That's kind of still too big. So I went ahead and I just cut these out of old cardstock. They're not current colors. And I put the measurements on them so that I could play around just like this. I think this might be the design that I want. Do I have any smaller pieces? I guess not, but I can do the math. The next smaller one, if I did, oh, well, duh, the next 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, so it's 3 by 4 1/4. I almost think I want that with this larger border and then rectangles inside that. I don't know, what do y'all think? This be the main design with a smaller piece. I'm surprised that I don't have one of those. I'll have to rectify that off camera later. Or do you like this dimension better? One of the reasons that I want to go with the 3 wide, well, it won't matter because it's 4 1/4. I was trying to avoid doing 8s. Let's just go with this one. I think this will work. Okay, let me move those out of the way and it's gonna all come together and make a little bit more sense. So I'm gonna set that to the side and grab my pieces. Again, I already pre-cut and scored an 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 cardstock to make it an A2 card front. Just whoops, didn't mean to throw my bone folder around. The next piece is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So I'm going to just cut with a piece like this because it's bigger than what I need. I'm going to do the smaller cut first. So 3 1/2 slice by 4 3/4 slice. All right, set those out of the way. And that's going to be the next layer. And that should center pretty nicely. Alrighty, I still need my trimmer. The next layer is 4 1/4. Sorry, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. What did I do wrong? That is not correct. I did not, what did I do? I was like, that did not look right. Because I did 3 1/4. That's all right. Let's see if I can get 3 1/2 out of this piece. Oops. Oh, it just fits. Sorry, y'all. I wondered why that didn't look quite right. 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Lynn, you're welcome. Fixing a mistake. She said she likes when I make mistakes. Because I have to fix them live, you know? Oops. Alrighty. So, yeah, that ratio looks much better. I thought it looked a little off. Okay, glad we got that fixed. Okay, now I want to cut this into 4 rectangles and to use all 4 of these pretty pattern papers. So the first thing is, what is half of 3 1/4? I know half of 3 is 1 1/2 and half of 1/4 is 1/8. So that means 1 5/8 is my half. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of these into 1 5/8 inch strips and make sure there's my half. And then I've got a 16th and then an 8th. So that's 1 5/8 once. I'm not digging in my stash from the mini album because I may still need some of the scraps and I did not want to use them up and not have them. So that's why I'm using these bigger pieces. 1 5/8. Oh, that worked out really nicely with that pattern. 1 5/8. And the last one, 1 5/8. Now this is boring, but it's part of the process, isn't it? All right. So let me move those out of the way. So next we have to figure out what is half of 4 1/2. This one's a little bit easier because half of 4 is 2 and half of half is 1/4. So 2 1/4 is how tall I need for each piece to be. So 2 1/4 slice. Let me use the darker end. 2 1/4. Excuse me. What have you all been up to today? It rained some and was sunny some and rained some and was sunny some. I have an aunt in town and I got to visit with her, with my parents and my aunt and her friend this evening, along with my daughter and her boyfriend. It was very nice and got home in time to go live on time. So, alrighty, let's put this together. Like I said, super simple, but it's a pretty idea in my head and we'll see how it plays out. But basically, we just cut this panel into quarters and we're going to lay them out. And I think I definitely want the two with the white backgrounds to be opposites, like this. And I like that. Okay. And then we'll do the Thinking of You strip across the middle and add a butterfly and some gems. Super easy peasy, right? This could, of course, be one beautiful, pretty panel of 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I told you it was an easy layout tonight, or easy sketch, because I've been crafting. Oh, does this have? I can't believe this is going to run out on camera, and I don't have green glue here on my table. Maybe it'll make it. We'll see. I think I like that edge with the polka dots. I'm gonna make this work. So the good thing about putting the sentiment across the center is I'm gonna really work on lining up the left, top, right, and bottom edges and not so much the middle because that's gonna get covered up. And because it's gonna be covered up, I think I will use that thinner Flirty Flamingo at the top. Don't necessarily like to put the same color on the same color, That seems a little like I should have moved it over some. I think I did more of an 1/8 of an inch instead of a 1/4 inch border. Ooh, I can't believe how well that peeled up. Okay, let me put this down. Sticky side. Oh, by the way, I should have shown this already. This is a good reason, a good excuse to show you the back sides. They have these beautiful black and white patterns, so you can have a lot of fun with pattern and texture. So let me realign this correctly. I'm so glad that that did not stick. There we go. One, still want this side up. 2, that's much better. And like I said, I'm more concerned about lining up these edges than that edge. That's going to be covered up. I do think I like it with the 4 here on the left and the 1/2 on the 2s on the inside with this pattern. Okay, there we go. And using my Memento black ink, gonna give this a little tap, 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 little twist, tap it some more. Mine is not as juicy as it used to be, so it takes a little bit sometimes. Sorry, I don't like that black smudge, so let me turn that over. Sorry if you're looking at the top of my head. I love the clear stamps, but I do have to really look over the top to line them up. And you'll notice that I'm just holding it to the paper just to let the ink, you know, absorb in a little bit. Peel that off. Thinking of you because it's a good fit, and honestly, if you're sending someone a card, you're thinking of them, right? I'm gonna dovetail those ends. I just do these, something for a card is something this small. I just use my scissors and eyeball it. I have used my paper trimmer and made them really precise, but not for something this small. That's fine. Cut just a little bit more right there. There we go. Whoops, I've got a little hanging part that I didn't mean to do. There we go. All right, so thinking of you across the middle, and whoops. Let's see, and then I want to add a little butterfly. I'm going to kind of fold the wings up a little bit. I think I'm going to have it fly that way. If my liquid glue were handy right now, I would use that. But notice I'm just trying to put adhesive more on the body and not the wings so that they can still stick up. I know if it gets mailed, they may not, you know, they may flatten a little bit. And then let's add a few gems. I think I want some blue ones over here. Do a little 1, 2, and not there. Not there either. 3. Okay, and there we go. Quick and easy peasy lemon squeezy. Little thinking of you card. I don't know what this was left over from to be white on the inside. I don't remember, but it was in my bag, in my stash, and I love using my stash. So there we go. A very quick card that is basically 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 mat, and a 3/4 by 4 1/2 inch center. I did cut it into 4ths and use the 4 pretty pattern papers to make a really quick and easy thinking of you card. So thanks so much for watching. Again, I do have a Beautiful Ordinary Life mini album stamp camp on July 25th. There is a virtual option, so if you're interested, just let me know. I'm not going to go into all the details here. I do have my July Crafternoon card class and scrapbooking class on Sunday beginning at 3. So if you haven't RSVP'd yet for that, please be sure to do so. We are celebrating birthdays, so a birthday theme, but we're also going to play with my hot foil system because it should be here by then. So I will be back with information about, or kind of playing with that a little bit for you, with you. And as always, if I've inspired you to make something, I would love to see what you create. Nancy, I'm still hoping to make your cool card you made on Sunday with all the flaps. That is on my my wish to-do list, not my actual to-do list currently, because it's a little long, but I do want to make that. It looks so fun. So y'all will probably see that in the near future. So again, thanks so much for watching, and be sure to get inky. Take care, y'all. Bye.